there, I'm Cath. Welcome to my channel Made by Cath Craft, and thank you so much for joining me for today's vlog. So in today's vlog I'm going to be talking a little bit about a wardrobe clear out. So over the past few weeks I've been trying to have a little bit of a wardrobe clear out. I think because I've been transitioning from my winter wardrobe to my summer wardrobe, I've been getting my summer stuff out, putting away my winter things, and it's got me thinking about what I'm wearing and what I haven't been wearing so much. So I've been trying to have a little clear out of things I'm not wearing so much so I can pass them to somebody else who might get some more wear out of them. And I've got rid of some ready to wear clothes, and that's been quite easy because firstly they're a bit older. I have been sewing for nearly 3 years now, so I haven't really bought much ready to wear since I started to sew. So a lot of the ready to wear things are a bit older, and now I'm trying them back on. I'm conscious that they don't fit me as well as things that I can make myself and I can tailor the fit better. So the ready to wear has been a bit easier, but I've also noticed there are a few handmade items that I'm really not wearing so much, or the one I do wear I notice there's something not quite right about them for me. And so I thought I'd have a look through and figure out which ones of those I might need to pass on to a new home. And I found it quite tricky actually. I think much harder handing on handmade clothes, just because I put the time into making them, and so I'm a bit more attached to them emotionally, I guess. So I thought this vlog would be quite useful for myself to talk through why I think I do need to hand them on. And there's various different reasons: fit, not the right fabric, not my style. But I thought I'd talk through in this vlog all the reasons why I think that I want to rehome those items, and I thought you might find it interesting to hear a little bit about them too. So let's get started. So before I start talking about my handmade wardrobe edit, I thought I'd share with you what I'm wearing today. And the weather has been lovely and sunny in England the last couple of weeks, but since the weekend it has turned a little bit rainy and cold again, which is a shame, but it's meant I've got out some of my kind of clothes that work well in that in-betweeny weather where it's rainy and a bit cooler but not super freezing. And so today I'm wearing this dress here. It is the Coco Dress by Tilly and the Buttons, and it's one of Tilly's earlier patterns, but one I came to more recently. I fancy making it. I think I made it last year because I thought I've seen so many versions of it, I just really wanted to give it a go making one for myself. So it's quite a sort of straightforward Georgie dress with a sort of slightly boat neckline, 3/4 length sleeves, and it's got quite an A-line type shape. And you can also, I'll show you the line drawings here, you can also make it into a sort of tunic top too. And there's also an option for a little sort of funnel neckline, little cuffs and patch pockets. But I kept mine really simple. I went for just a plain boat neckline, as you can see, and then just a plain A-line dress without any pockets. And I made mine in a cotton jersey, and it's quite sweet because it's got these little black stripes, but also these little hearts, which I thought were quite nice. And I got this fabric from Material Girl Laura, who unfortunately has closed her website since. This was one of my last fabrics I bought from her. And I'll put a picture of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like. I think the pattern's designed really to be made in a slightly more sturdy knit fabric, like an interlock or a Ponte Roma. So making it in jersey probably isn't the first fabric choice, but I really like it. I'm not a big fan of Ponte myself, but I wanted to give it a go in jersey, and I quite like it. It's nice and comfy. It's really easy to wear. I made the size 2, which is the standard, my standard Tilly size, which is bust 32, waist 26, hips 35. My hips are slightly bigger, but because this is A-line, it kind of skirts over them, and it's fine on me. But that's what I'm wearing today, the Tilly and the Buttons Coco dress. It's quite a cute and relaxed J dress. But now let me start talking about the items from my handmade wardrobe that I think I'd like to hand on. And I thought I'd mention, in terms of handing on these items, I'm going to look into a few different options. I'm hoping I might be able to pass a few of them to friends and family. I'm also going to find out which local charity shops do accept handmade garments, because I know not all charity shops do. And then I also spotted a few weeks back an online charity on Instagram that does accept handmade garments too. So I've got a few different options, so I'm hoping I'll be able to find some nice homes for these garments. But the first garment is one that I really love actually, and it's this skirt here, and it's made using this pattern here, which is the Tulip Skirt by Sew Over It. And it's a really lovely pattern. It's got a skirt with a sort of fitted waistband. It's got darts at the back and these lovely sort of slightly slanted pleats at the front to create this really pretty tulip effect. And it's got pockets too. It's not got the biggest size range. It runs from 0 to 20. And I think some of Sew Over It patterns have been extended to include a wider size range, but this one isn't one of them when I had a look. But yeah, I'll show you the line drawings here. So yeah, it's got these lovely pleats at the front, and then it's got a visible zip at the back. And I have actually got quite a lot of wear out of this tulip skirt that I made. I made it in this kind of needle cord fabric. And one of the reasons that I do think I'm going to hand this on is because I find the fabric a little bit too lightweight and a bit too drapey and soft, so it doesn't really give a lovely tulip shape. So it's more of a kind of, it looks a bit more like a fitted skirt, and I'll put a picture up so you can see it isn't really poofy like a tulip shape, it's fairly straight, and I really prefer a slightly more poofy effect skirt on me. But it's a really cute skirt still, and yeah, I can see there's a visible bit of zip there at the back. And the other reason I'm thinking of handing this on is that it comes up a little bit big on me. So it doesn't really sit on my natural waist, it sort of falls slightly below. I think I made the size 8, which is waist 26 and hips 36, but somehow it's come out a little bit large on me still. So I think if I made this skirt again, I would really like to make this skirt again actually, and I'd love to make another one in red because I find it a lovely one to wear, particularly at Christmas time with a Christmas jumper, like in the picture here you can see I'm wearing it with a jumper with reindeers on. I'd like to make another one, and I'd love to make it in red again, but I think I'll choose a slightly more sturdy fabric, and I think it does say it recommends sturdier fabrics, medium to heavyweight cotton, wool or crepe. So I think, yeah, it was my poor fabric choice when I did buy this corduroy. I think I was maybe expecting it to be more of a chunky corduroy and less of a needle cord. So yeah, I think if I make it again, I'll make it in a sort of slightly sturdier fabric, maybe a chunkier corduroy or maybe a cotton twill. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to try and alter the pattern pieces just to bring in the waist slightly, because the fit across the hips is great, but the waist is just slightly big, and that is the smallest size, the size 8, waist 26, so I'll have to have a little go at just adjust the pattern pieces myself to bring in the waist a bit. And I think I made this fairly early on in my dressmaking journey, but I think I feel a bit more confident now about adjusting that and maybe just bringing in the darts at the back to kind of narrow that waist in and cinch it in a little bit more. That's the first item I'm thinking of handing on. The Sew Over It tulip skirt is a lovely little skirt and I've got some joy out of wearing it, but I'd love to make a new version that just fits me that little bit better and does give that tulip shape a little bit more. The next garment I'm going to look to hand on is another one that I really love but just doesn't quite work for me, and I made it using this really lovely pattern here, which is the Cardamom Dress by Deer & Doe. And I think it's one of Deer & Doe's lesser known patterns. They have some lovely other patterns that I think have been made, I've seen a lot of makes of, like the Maya Sotis dress and the Sirocco jumpsuit, but this one I haven't seen so many versions of. It's a really lovely pattern. It's a little bit more complicated. I think it's level 4 out of 5, so it's a bit of a fiddly pattern. And I'll show you the line drawings. It is, so you can either make a sleeved version or a sleeveless version. It's got a little bib at the front with the buttons, and it's got a sheared waist and little inset pockets as well. And it's got a collar. So there's quite a few technical bits to this pattern, and I made it quite early on in my sewing journey, and I think, yeah, it was a real challenge. I learned quite a lot of skills through making this pattern, so it's a great one to give a go if you want to kind of sort of stretch yourself a little bit. It was my first time shearing, my first time posting a full collar, and a few things like that. And my version I made, and I'll show you it now, and I made it in this chambray and then sort of quilting cotton, weight cotton here. And I do really love it, and I really love the combination. I was inspired by someone on Instagram to make this, Emma, who is the zipper foot. And she made a lovely version again with chambray and a different cotton here. And I really loved it, and I thought I really wanted to give it a go. So I chose this mustard cotton here, which is quite a sort of sturdy cotton. And yeah, it was, as I said, I really enjoyed making it. And I'm really pleased with it actually, and with the finish and how it turned out. I spent a long time on it. But unfortunately, it isn't one I reach for a lot, and so for a few reasons. Firstly, I think with it being sleeveless, it's a sort of summery dress, and I wouldn't really wear it in the winter, and it's sort of too fitted really to fit a top underneath to kind of layer up for winter. So it's kind of a summery dress, but with this quilting cotton here and with the shearing and everything, it ends up being a little bit too hot, I find, for summer, a little bit too substantial. And the other thing is I did lengthen the bodice slightly, but I still find it comes up a little bit high, and because of the shearing it feels like it rides up a little bit when I wear it as well, so I end up kind of tugging it down quite a lot, so it's not quite comfortable on me. I'll put a picture up of me wearing it so you can see. I really do love so many things about this dress, but it isn't one I reach for, and I figure somebody else who might be able to enjoy it a little bit more than I do. So yeah, that's my next one I'm planning on getting rid of, I think, and handing on. So just a couple more details about the cardamom pattern. It's quite a small range of sizes. It goes from a size 34 up to a size 46, and the size 46 is bust 41, waist 33, hips 43 and a quarter. And there are 3 more sizes, larger sizes of this dress available in PDF on Deer & Doe's website, but it doesn't go up too large still. And they are reviewing their size range at the moment, I think, and they're going to be extending it on some of their patterns, but I don't know whether this one will be included in that. But it's a lovely pattern with some really lovely details. And I have actually made one other version of this. I do wear more, and I'll pop a picture of that one. And that one I made in a viscose fabric, and I lengthened the body a bit more, so it's got a bit more of a blousey effect on the top, as you can see. And it's a bit more lightweight, so I find that one works a lot better for summer. And that is with the benefit of a bit of experience. But my first version, I think I will be letting go. I really hope I'll be able to find it a nice home, because I do still really love it. It just doesn't feel quite comfortable on me with it rising up a little bit. But that's the Deer and Doe Cardamom Dress, my second item I'm going to be passing on. The next item that I'm going to be handing on is one that I really would like to be able to wear, because it's something I really need in my wardrobe, but I don't ever wear it because it doesn't feel like it fits quite right on me. And it is a summer dressing gown, which I made using this pattern here, which is the Simplicity 1946. So it's kind of like a standard dressing gown pattern. It's got an adult version and a children's version, and also this kind of cushion, which is a bit random. But yeah, I bought this fairly early when I started sewing, because I thought making a dressing gown would be something that would be fairly straightforward to do. If I was using kind of a cotton fabric, it should be fairly straightforward, no fastenings or anything like that. And I made this version here in this quite pretty, I think it's probably a cotton poplin, with little floral effect on it. And so yeah, it's kind of like a lightweight, and it was supposed to be a summer dressing gown for me to wear just to sort of toss on in the morning in summer months, which is something I could really use actually. And at the moment I'm not wearing one at all, and it ends up getting a bit cold, or else I put my winter dressing gown on and I'm super hot. So I really want to make one that I actually am going to wear, but this one I don't really wear. And I think the reason is, this is something I made early on in my sewing journey, and I think I chose the wrong size. So I went for the size small, which is for a chest of 34. And I think I should have sized down to the size extra small, which is for a chest of 31. So there's quite a big difference there. And I'm a size 32, and I think I was worried about going too small and end up being too tight, but it's ended up coming up quite large. And I'll put a picture so you can see. I really have to wrap it and pull it right round and right across for it to kind of do up and kind of not just fall open. And even then, there's something about the neckline, I just don't think it fits me quite right, and it does sort of seem to kind of fall open still. So I spend a lot of time trying to sort of redo it and put it back together, and it just ended up being something I don't really wear a lot of. I think also when I made this, I was quite new to using interfacing, and I've chosen quite a sort of sturdy interfacing, so the front around the neckline again feels a little bit too sturdy, and I could do with something a little bit more lighter weight to make it a bit more comfortable around the neckline. So just a few things with the benefit of hindsight that I would have done differently. I do really like this pink fabric, and I'm hoping that it could go to be used by somebody else who's a slightly bigger frame, and they won't need to wrap it around quite as much. But that is one that I'm going to be passing on, I think, and hopefully I'll find a nice home for it. And I would like to try making a summer dressing gown again. I think this pattern isn't quite for me. Something about the neckline and how it sits just doesn't feel quite right for me, so I'm going to give another dressing gown pattern a go. I'm thinking maybe the Name Clothing larger dressing gown. Maybe, but I need to have a little think about what fabric I want to make it in, whether I want to use a sort of cotton poplin again or something a bit drapier like a viscose. But I really would like to make a summer dressing gown, so I'm going to hand that one on and put it on my list to make one that I actually will get some wear out of and hopefully might fit me a little bit better. So the next item that I really would love to wear and love, but it just isn't for me, is one I've actually even tried to refashion to make it more me, but still I'm not wearing it. And it's this dress here. And it is the Georgie dress by Sew Over It. And it's a really lovely pattern. It is a sort of faux wrap dress, where it's kind of wrapped and then sewn into the side with a little bit of a sort of gathering detail here, which I think is really pretty. And it almost makes me think of like a ballerina's, a sort of tied across cardigan, which I think is quite pretty. And then it's got a gathered skirt at the bottom. And I made it in this really lovely viscose jersey. I think it's a Lady McElroy viscose jersey. I got it from Minerva. And I really love it. I love the colour. I love the sort of small geometric print of it. And I really love the dress, I just don't love it on me. So I originally made it, I'll show you the pattern. It's designed to be made, I think maybe coming just below the knee. It's got two versions. This is the version I've made, which is designed to be made in lighter weight fabrics with a wrap and a gathered skirt. And there's also this version here with a fuller, I think it's a half circle skirt possibly, which is designed to be made in sort of less stretchy and more knit fabrics with more body, like a ponte or a French terry. But yeah, I made this version here, and I really thought it was a pretty dress. And it's designed to be just below the knee. And I originally made it sort of below the knee length, and I'll show you a picture of it here of me wearing it. And I didn't really wear it at all. It just felt, I don't really often wear below the knee. It didn't feel quite right for me. So then I decided to shorten it a bit to see if that improved it. So I chopped it off to slightly above the knee, and I put a picture in again. And I really liked it at first. But then when I wore it out, I just didn't feel me in it at all. And I don't know whether it is the combination of the colour and the pattern, and it just feels a little bit formal for my life, because I don't go to work in an office or anything, so I don't really need anything that's slightly more formal, and it felt a bit too sort of dressy just for kind of what my life involves. So yeah, I'm just thinking of handing it on, but I think it's really lovely, and I think it would be lovely for somebody who did go to work in office. I think it'd be a perfect dress to dress up with a pair of tights and heels. So in terms of the pattern, I made the size 8, which is for a bust 33, waist 26, hips 36, and that is my waist and hips measurement. My bust is slightly smaller, but I found it fits fine, and there's not too much extra fabric around the bust really. And what's a nice detail about this pattern is actually that it's secured around the neckline by clear elastic inside. It's a lined bodice and there's clear elastic inside, which means you get a really nice secure finish here, and it doesn't sort of gape at all. I lengthened the bodice slightly because I'd seen it came up quite high. I'm 5'6" and I've got a fairly long body, so I lengthened it by 1.5 inches, which is quite a lot, but actually I feel that kind of lengthening works for my body shape, and it does sit on my natural waist. But yeah, as I said, I really love it. I love the fabric. I love a lot about it. It just doesn't really feel me, so I'm really hoping I can find a new home for this, the Sew Over It Georgie dress. And it was a really nice sew actually as well, so it's a real shame that it's just not quite for me. When I was clearing out my wardrobe, then I came across one dress that I have refashioned, and I actually do like a lot better now that I've changed it. So I thought I'd share that too. So it's one I'm going to be keeping rather than handing on. And it is a dress I made using this pattern here, which is the Lottie pattern by Tilly and the Buttons. And it's a really nice and fairly easy pattern to make. It's one of Tilly's beginner patterns. I'll show you the line drawings actually, which will show it a little bit better. It is either a short sleeve sort of grown on sleeves dress here with an elasticated waistband and then a sort of swishy skirt, or you can add on sleeves as well, and you can add on patch pockets if you want. And it's a quite clever pattern because you can make it either in a woven fabric or a jersey fabric. And I made my version in a viscose fabric, and I'll show you it here. And this is a fabric I was gifted from Minerva in exchange for a review, so I'll include a link to my review of this pattern and fabric down below in case you fancy reading it. But yeah, I made mine in this really lovely viscose fabric. It's quite a nice lightweight viscose fabric, but it was really nice to sew with actually, and fairly stable for viscose. And it's got this little floral print on and sort of monochromatic. Yeah, so this is my version, and it's got the gathered waist there, and I didn't add patch pockets, I kept it fairly simple. And I originally made it with long sleeves, and I'll put a picture up of how it looked with long sleeves. And I cropped the skirt length slightly to above the knee because I think it's designed to be below the knee, and like I was mentioning with the Georgie dress, that doesn't feel very me. So that was how it looked originally. But I didn't find I was wearing it. I actually made French seams on this dress, and I think the French seams where the sleeve, the sort of short sleeve joined the long sleeve, made it a bit bulky there, so it didn't sort of feel like it sat right on the seam going down my arm, which is one of the reasons I just thought it didn't feel quite right when I wore it. But I decided to give it a go of taking the sleeves off and turning it into a short sleeve version, and I actually really like it now, and I put a picture up so you can see how it looks now. It feels a lot more light and relaxed, and just a lot more me now. So I'm really pleased I did chop the sleeves off. All I did was unpick them and then hem them again. So it does pretty much now look like the short sleeve Lottie first, and I should have maybe done that in the first place. But I really like it now, and I'm actually thinking I might like to make another version in some slightly more summery fabric, because this one feels a little bit more wintry, I think, in this black and white kind of print, and is one I maybe would team with a cardi and tights maybe for winter or something. But yeah, that's my Lottie dress, my refashion. So I was really pleased that I could make that one work, so I didn't have to get rid of that one. Oh, and in terms of sizing on the Lottie dress, it goes from size UK 6 to UK 24, and the top size is bust 48, waist 42, hips 51. And I made the size 2, which is 32 bust, waist 26, hips 35. And I'm bust 32, waist 26. My hips are slightly larger, but because the skirt's gathered, it flows out quite a lot, so that was fine. There's plenty of room on the hips for me. And I just noticed I included a note on the front of the pattern to say, if I make this again, I need to do a forward shoulder adjustment by a couple of centimetres, because I do find on my version, the shoulder seam does sit a bit too far back, and I think it'll be slightly more comfortable if I did bring that forward. So if I do make another version, I'm going to bear that in mind for my version. So I've got one more pattern to share with you, or one more garment to share with you that I am going to be passing on. And then I've got a couple of other garments to share with you after that. That are garments that I really love, and I'm hoping I can refashion so that I can still get some use out of them. But the next garment I'm thinking of handing on is my ginger jeans, which are here. And I made these about a year ago, and I really wanted to give jeans making a go because I was really struggling to find any jeans that fit me well on the high street. And I was a little bit reluctant about giving them a try because I thought they'd be quite technical and it would be quite hard to get the right fit. But I felt I really needed some jeans. I'm often in jeans. So I thought I'd give them a go and see if I can find a great pattern that I would be able to use. But unfortunately, I haven't got much wear out of these at all. And so I'm going to hand them on to somebody else. I'll show you the ginger jeans pattern. Yeah, it's a really great classic jeans pattern by Closet Core. What I liked about it firstly was it comes with two different waistlines, a high-waisted option and a slightly lower rise option. And historically I've kind of worn slightly more lower rise jeans, so I liked having that option and I did make the lower rise version. And it got a sort of drain pipe, sort of skinny jean option, and then more of a straight leg jean. So I went for the low rise and the skinny leg. And I've actually written a blog post talking in more detail about my ginger jeans in case you want to have a little bit more detail about how I found it. And I also include some links to Closet Core's got a really amazing pack of information on their website. They've got lots of different blog posts about different stages of sewing the jeans, which I found really helpful to kind of help me work through making the jeans. So there's loads of really useful information. It's a great pattern. The reason I am going to be handing these on is that I chose a fabric that I think it had maybe a 2 or 3% stretch, which is recommended for jeans, but they're just not stretchy enough for me. I think my jeans I wear are almost verging on jeggings. I'm used to something a little bit more stretchy. So I find these ones a little bit too rigid for me. And I made them quite fitted, and so I end up feeling not too comfy in them when I'm kind of getting down the floor with my kids and that sort of thing. They just come up a little bit too tight. So I think if I made them again, I would probably go for a more stretchy fabric, and more stretchy even than the pattern recommends. Yeah, the pattern recommends stretch denim, twill or corduroy with at least 2% lycra. I think mine might have had 3%, but next time I'd look for something with a higher percentage of stretch, just to make them more comfy for me, because I do like a comfy clothes. So it's a bit of a shame to be getting rid of them because I put a lot of work into them, but I did learn loads of useful skills, and it'll do me really useful if I do make another pair of jeans at some point in the future. I'll put a picture up just so you can see how they look on. As I said, they were a slow sell. I took my time over them, so it does seem a real shame to get rid of them, but I'm not really wearing them. And if I can find somebody, or if we can hand them on and somebody else could get some wear out of them, they'd be more comfortable on them who are used to a more rigid jean style, then that'll be really great. And I still, even though I'm getting rid of them, I'm not getting rid of all the knowledge I gained by having a go of them. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame, but there's no point in them sitting in my wardrobe and not ever being reached for. So that's the Closet Core ginger jeans. Yeah, it's a shame to pass them on really, but then I'm not wearing them, so it seems a shame to keep them. So like I mentioned before, the last two garments I've got to share with you are ones that I'm hoping I can refashion, so I will get some more wear out of them because they're not working for me quite as they are at the moment. But I really, really love them, and I especially love the fabric of these two. So I'm hoping I can do something to make them into garments that I'm going to get more wear out of in my wardrobe. And the first one is my first Freya dress, and it comes from this book here, the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book. It's my favourite pattern from this book, and let me find it so I can show you. So this is the Freya dress and top pattern. It is designed for stretch fabrics. It's a little book with stretch patterns. It comes with a mock neckline, although you can also make a couple of different necklines that are included in the book. And then it is a kind of A-line skirt, quite fitted, and you can make a longer sleeve or shorter sleeve, and it's one of my favourite patterns I've made loads of. And this version is my first Freya dress I made. And here it is. I made it in this really lovely cotton jersey. It's part of Stuart Hillard's a collection of jerseys he made. Stuart Hillard, he was on the Sewing Bee, and I think he's a quilter by trade, but he's also designed some fabrics, and he always designs really lovely fabrics. But this is part of one of his ranges. It's a really nice quality jersey. It's not like a flimsy at all. It's got a really substantial cotton jersey with this lovely sort of geometric dragonfly print on. And I just love this print, and I wanted to turn it into a Freya dress. But I don't know what happened. I'm sure I did pre-wash my fabric, and it might have just been one of these things I just cut a little bit too short. And I'll show you a picture, and I don't know whether it's got shorter with washing or it was always quite short and I just got a bit overexcited and chopped it quite short when I made it. I don't even know. But it just feels, I mean, I'm not averse to wearing fairly short things if I've got a pair of dark tights underneath. But this one does feel uncomfortably short, and I think as well it feels like I'm kind of missing a bit of the A-line skirt because I chopped it a bit high so you don't see the full A-line skirt as well, so it feels a little bit top heavy as a garment. and it's a real shame because I absolutely love this fabric. But what I'm thinking is I might chop it into a top length Freya, and I'm hoping I'll get a lot more wear out of it then. It'll be really easy obviously to do, just to chop it into a top. I'm a little bit reluctant in a way because I do love it as a dress and I wish it could be a bit longer, but obviously I can't grow it longer. So I think I'm going to have to chop it into a top length, and I really enjoy wearing it as a top and not feeling too self-conscious that it's too short. So that's my plan for this one. And like with usually with Tilly patterns, I made the size 2. Again, I didn't bother adjusting to grade out for my hips because it's an A-line, it sort of skirts over my hips anyway. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to make it into a top, and I thought if I brought it on here and told you I'm going to make it into a top, it would actually encourage me to do it rather than not really wearing it and keep thinking about it. I'm going to actually do it. So that's the first one of my garments I'm hoping to refashion. And the other one's another Tilly pattern actually, and it's this pattern here. It is a Bettine dress. It's one of Tilly's sewing patterns for beginners, and it's one of her older patterns. It's a really nice dress. It is... It's got a little bit of a scoop neckline, it's got a waist that's gathered by elastic, and then it's kind of almost got like a fully fitted skirt that kind of comes in a little bit, and these little pockets you can add at the front, and you can add little tabs on the sleeves as well, which are quite nice. And the size range isn't the biggest on this one. It goes from size 1 to size 8, and 8's in UK 20, which is bust 44, waist 38, hips 47, and that's the same as the Freya top actually in the stretch book, the same size range. But I made my version. This was one of my earlier makes, and I made it this really pretty, I think it's an art gallery cotton lawn with these lovely sort of poppy style flowers on. I don't know, I guess they're not poppies, they're red. The red background makes me think of poppies. So I made my version here. I did the little sort of cuffs here and the little pockets at the front, and it's got the elasticated waist. And yeah, I really love it. I love the fabric. I really love red. But this is one of my earlier patterns I made, and I made a size 2, and I didn't grade out at the hips, and for this one I really should have graded out at the hips because it's quite fitted on the hips. So whenever I wear it, it's just a little bit tight on the hips, and I put a picture up of me wearing it so you can see. So it's just a little bit uncomfortably tight around the hips. But I really love it, and I really love this fabric, and I don't think you can get hold of this fabric anymore, so I'd really love to be able to do something with it, to be able to still still enjoy this fabric. So I thought I would start by unpicking the waistband and removing the elastic, and then seeing what I could do with the fabric I've got left. I don't know whether I'd be able to maybe gather it in and turn it into a little top with a slight peplum or something, which might be quite nice for summer. But if you've got any ideas of what I might be able to do, then do let me know. I've got a little bit of fabric, decent amount of fabric on the skirt I could use somehow. I quite like the shape of the top. I think it's quite pretty. I'm just not sure how to go about hacking it to turn it into something more wearable. But I do think I need to, because it is a bit tight around the hips. And with like being around the children, and often I'm like running after them, that sort of thing, I can't really do it so much in this one. I wouldn't want to end up splitting it. So that is the Bettine dress by Tilly and the Buttons, one I need some inspiration on for how I can hack it to make it still work. So those 2 garments that I want to refashion concludes my handmade wardrobe edit. I've really enjoyed having a look through my wardrobe actually, and pulling out a few things I can hopefully hand on so they can get loved more than they are being loved in my house. And I'm looking forward to refashioning a couple of items so I can actually get them out and wear them a little bit more. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about my plans for these garments and why some things aren't working, or why I want to make some things work better. I've really enjoyed sharing, and it's been a really helpful process for me to kind of talk through those items and actually really get on with actually doing something with them. So thank you so much for watching. And before I go on this vlog, I thought I'd mention, I was thinking over the next few weeks of maybe doing a question and answer style vlog. So if you have any questions about my dressmaking journey, sort of how I got into dressmaking, my most used patterns, sewing disasters, or anything you really want to ask, if you'd be interested in that sort of vlog and you do have a question, I'd love it if you pop it down below, and if I have enough questions, if you're interested, I will put together a vlog answering those questions. I really enjoy hearing from other sewers about them talking about themselves a little bit more, and yeah, if you're interested, then please do put a question down below and I'll try and gather them together and do a vlog answering those over the next few weeks. But yeah, as I said, if you're interested, that would be lovely. If not, then no worries too. So thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this vlog, then I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, I would really love it if you would subscribe. And if you click the bell icon as well, then you'll be notified about my future vlogs that are coming up, or when they come out. So thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.